Welcome to the NEPA Scene Podcast. We're coming to you live from Cole Creative in downtown Wilkes-Barre. I'm Rich Howells. I'm the founder and editor of NEPA Scene.
Hi, I'm Brittany Boot. I'm the owner of Boot Photography Studio.
And I am John Popko. I work for Time Shamrock Communications with Rock 107, Alt 92. I can't talk already. Alt 92.1 and ESPN Radio. And I'm also the Saturday night host of Alt Natives on Alt 92.1 from 9 to 10.
That's because you haven't been here, and so you've been a little out of practice.
Yeah, but I've been out of the game. I'm back again. Yes. I'm back. It's the third time.
It's a miracle that all of us are in the same room tonight.
It truly is.
That hasn't happened in quite a few months.
It's nice.
Yeah.
Feels good.
It does. And this is how it started. A year ago this week was our first episode of this version of the NEPA Scene Podcast. We did 62 episodes at 25/8 Studios in Scranton. They actually have a new podcast now, so if you want to look them up, they're doing something completely different from what we're doing, but it's cool that they're going in their direction. We started at Cole Creative a year ago, and our first episode was just us hanging out, kind of introducing ourselves to the audience and everything like that, and doing it as a video and audio podcast. So we're available pretty much everywhere that you can get podcasts these days, and maybe a few places that you can't, but we've forced it in there anyway. So this has been a lot of fun, and I'm glad you guys have stuck with it for this whole year.
Yeah, I can't believe it's been a year.
I'm just surprised you haven't fired me yet.
You? How about me?
Yeah, you're probably worse. Yeah, you're probably worse than I am. You are hands down worse than me. I have an excuse. You have a business, Brittany? Oh, okay. You need to pay your bills? Oh, okay. I gotta feed a face.
I feel like I've been here like maybe 60% of the time. Yeah, is that a fair?
Probably 55%.
Now you're pushing it.
All right, maybe 60.
So we're here to celebrate that anniversary by kind of catching everybody up on what we've been up to and stuff, and to make some really cool announcements that you'll hear first, or on nepascene.com if you're a regular reader. But some of the things we're gonna talk about tonight are a little different. We're talking about NEPA Scene Rising Talent, which is the open mic and talent contest that we do at the V Spot. That's starting again this Tuesday, March 27th at 7 p.m. Sign-ups are around 6:30. We go till maybe about 7:30, and then we get going all the way till about 11 o'clock at night, sometimes later, depending on what the turnout is and stuff. So we have some cool announcements about what the grand prize is going to be this season. So I'm going to get into that in a little bit. We also have a special photography and music show that one of our photographers, Keith Perks, is putting together. It's a project that he was doing on his own, but he was kind enough to kind of throw in NEPA Scene because it really fits with what we do with the local music scene and stuff like that. So it's a really neat event where he'll be releasing a compilation CD of music you've never heard before and you can't get anywhere else, along with a live show, photography show, all kinds of stuff. So we're going to talk about that. That's going to be at the Bog next month. So if you have any questions, comments, anything you ever wanted to know about ourselves or NEPA Scene or how we do things or anything like that, please leave them down below. We will get to them at some point in the show. The show's much, much better when you guys are able to throw us questions and comments. So we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, basically, long story short, we're here to brag.
Pretty much, yeah. We're here to say how great we are and all the great things we're doing. That's really, the thing is everything that we do is always to try to lift up what everybody else is doing in the scene. It's not about us, it's about everybody that we have on this show. We've had so many different guests and done a lot of different stuff on the show that I'm proud of, and I think wouldn't be possible without Cole Creative. So, and it certainly wouldn't be possible without our sponsors. Our first is Beer Boys in Wilkes-Barre, who've been with us the longest, and they provide us with these giant crowlers of beer each week to drink and get the guests drunk. And what are we drinking this week, John?
All three are from Trogs. We have Trogs number 308. It's a Ghost. Did I say it? Ghost? Ghost? Whatever. Boysenberry. The Trogs Dreamweaver. And the Trogs Perpetual IPA.
Those are all pretty solid ones.
Yeah, I'm going to recommend we go with the Ghosts.
All right.
Is that how you say that?
I don't know.
I forget.
Don't we have a beer guide?
We do. We should have him on.
Is that how you say it? Ghosts, whatever.
We have Derek and Matt. We have 2 beer guys.
I still suck at it.
So we'll start with that one then. So they have 72 beers on tap, right down the street, right here in Wilkes-Barre.
Oh, it looks fruity.
Oh, looks
That
sour.
does look
Kind of like. Just kidding.
Looks sour.
Thank you.
A little sour taste to it, maybe. I don't know.
You take that one. And then just give me a little bit.
Yeah, it's definitely a sour.
Is it? Are the interns drinking today? Is Sam drinking
Sam
today?
is.
It's not bad though for being sour. It's not.
No, it's not as. It's kind of has a tartness that balances out
Yeah, it's actually pretty good.
the sour.
It tastes like
part.
framboise.
Ooh.
Yeah, it does have a little bit of a framboise taste. That's
I had a harpoon go. I'm going to keep saying ghost. But it was very good. It wasn't very sour at all. Maybe they're not sours.
Cheers.
Cheers to 1 year.
1 year.
That was very good.
And hopefully many more. But that really depends on you guys actually tuning in and watching. So please keep watching us. And Facebook, we really started when Facebook Live was a much bigger thing in terms of them trying to promote it. So Facebook, anytime you went on Facebook Live, they would let everybody see it. And now they've been kind of scaling that back more and more and more. I won't trash talk Facebook any more than anyone else is lately, as they've gotten into a lot of shit, especially in the political realm. But please,
Goddamn
if you guys like the show, comment, watch it, tune into the live stream. It's so much better when we have your live comments, and share it with your friends. Let people know what we're doing here.
Yeah, make fun of us for all I care. Like,
Yeah, that's fine.
fucking do it.
Sure, you could totally criticize us. That's fine too. In fact, we will talk about some of that criticism when we get into the open mic, because I do want to address. People have lots of positive things to say about it, and every time we do one, people have the same negative comments. So we're going to talk about those as well. But speaking of the contest at the V Spot. They are also a sponsor of this show because they believe in local music and they support it wholeheartedly, which is awesome. And they have live entertainment every night of the week because of that. So this week they have My El Soul, who's playing tonight. So right after you're done watching this, head down there. They're actually the winners of last season of NEPA Scene Rising Talent. They were really, really great, blew everybody away. One of the few very authentic reggae bands in the area. There are a few people doing reggae, surprisingly, in Wilkes-Barre. George Wesley probably was the most famous out of all of them that did it here. But there's also, great bands like Elephants Dancing and things like that are kind of continuing that vibe and doing stuff with that. But My El Soul are actually, right from Jamaica, and they have some really great tunes, doing something that nobody else is doing in the area. So check them out and look them up if you're not going down tonight. Lightweight Duo is on Thursday. Project 90s is on Friday. So if you're a fan of 90s music. Grayson Drive is on Saturday. They won Best Cover Band in the Steamtown Music Awards last year. And DJ Huff is hosting karaoke on Sunday. And as I said, our Open Mic and Talent Contest is back on Tuesday and running only 12 weeks through June 12th. So if you or anyone you know has any kind of talent that you want to get on the stage, we encourage you to come out and join us. It's a lot of fun, and you'll meet a lot of cool people. Our last sponsor that I'll mention tonight is our newest one, which they're only going to be sponsoring for the next couple of weeks, but we might end up doing a show with them as well. I think it's a cool topic. The second annual Jim Thorpe Independent Film Festival. This event features more than 90 cutting-edge films from around the world, including dramas, documentaries, horror, sci-fi, LGBTQ, experimental, and grindhouse movies. The festival runs Thursday, April 12th through Sunday, April 15th at the Monchunk Opera House in Jim Thorpe. So it's a beautiful venue, and it's a cool, unique event, something different in the area. And they're going to make some announcements coming up very soon. They're actually at South by Southwest. So one of the films that is there right now is probably going to come to Jim Thorpe. So if you want more information about it, it's jimthorpeindiefilmfest.com. You can also look them up on Facebook and stuff as well. But we'll have plenty more about that. So stay tuned to nepascene.com. We'll definitely be talking about that in the future.
I'd prefer if you ran the sponsors by us to make sure that they're okay with us.
Oh, they're all right with
in
it?
the future.
Yeah, okay.
Don't make this be one a year and done. I'm kidding, obviously.
Yeah, they actually. I just talked to them yesterday.
That's great.
And they're big fans of what we do on the show and what we do on the site and everything. So they're like, how can we, get involved?
Yeah, if anyone else wants to be a sponsor, please contact Rich or myself or Brittany.
Absolutely.
Love to have you, and we love NEPA just as much as you do. So let's work together.
That was a good pitch.
Did I do okay?
It was all right.
That was all right. Not my best work. It's been a long day.
Well,
I'm up at like 3.
You do this for a living, so
I'm up at 3:30 every morning now. It's just it's a lot.
Now, is
The kid
that because of
doesn't
work
sleep.
or because of the kid?
The kid.
Yeah.
He's been a lot better though. We'll get into that.
Oh, I'm sure we will. All right, so let's talk about our award-winning NEPA Scene Rising Talent Open Mic. We did win Best Open Mic in the Electric City poll last year. So thank you to everybody who voted for us for that, because there's a lot of really great open mics in the area that have been doing it. In some cases, many years prior to us coming along. So we've been doing this for all 3 years that we've been around as a website, but we've been doing it at different venues. So it started at the Woodlands 3 years ago. We did maybe
I totally forgot about
11
that.
or 12 weeks there, and it wasn't. We did the $50 cash every week. So to kind of give you some background on it, John Daw, who was doing the programming there at the time, wonderful guy. Involved in many really cool events and businesses and things in the area. He approached me about putting our name on it to kind of get it out there. It was like we were only around for like a month at that point, so it was kind of one of those things where we needed any kind of thing to get our name out there and let people know that we exist. So I immediately agreed, not knowing exactly what I was getting into or if it was going to be successful in any way or that kind of thing. So he said, we'll call it the NEPA Scene Open Mic, and we'll host it every Tuesday, because Tuesdays, I think anybody knows, are kind of like the worst days for businesses, for bars.
Except if you sell
restaurants.
tacos and tequila.
Yes, that's true. If you have a Taco Tuesday, you're probably pretty popular, but other than that, you're kind of stuck trying to get people in. So Tuesdays was a good day. So I said, oh, yeah, sure. I'll come and essentially host it, introduce people to it and stuff like that. Anybody could come, musicians, comedians, whoever. And then at the end of the night, the audience could vote for their favorite act, and we'll give them $50 right out of the register to the artist, which was pretty cool. And I thought, that's different. That'll get people to come out, and it definitely did. Like right away, we had a good amount of people and more comedians than I expected. Because I really wasn't that aware of the comedy scene in the area until we really started doing the open mics and discovering those people and having them come out week after week and bringing more and more of their friends and stuff. So it really became a thing, and it was really cool. So then at the end, we were like, well, we have all these people who, won the $50 or whatever. Why don't we put on a show with all of them together? And so we did a showcase show at the Woodlands. We had over 100 people through the door paying $10 to see people they've never seen before. Musicians, comedians, a mix of people. So anybody who tells you that, nobody will pay for local talent or nobody cares about local talent, I mean, that just proved it right there. And we were only around for a couple of months. So I wasn't sure if this thing was going to work or if anybody was going to care, but people really did, and they really showed up in droves, and everybody had a blast. We had a great time, and people laughed their ass off and at the comedians, and they were very respectful. They loved the musicians. Some CDs and stuff were sold that night, so it was a great night overall, and that kind of led us to eventually we moved it to Thirsties because Woodlands was going in a different direction. After Daw left, they were like, oh well, we're not really doing that on Tuesdays anymore. We're going to do other programming and stuff like that. So it just kind of we eventually just parted ways, and it worked out well because the owner of Thirsties called and said, hey, what would it take to bring it here? And I'm like, well, your timing's really good. Maybe a little bit of pay would be nice. We kind of did it at the Woodlands more or less as a, hoping that eventually it would turn into, more of a paid gig and stuff. And so we moved it to Thirsties, and we did 4 seasons there, which in 12-week intervals. And that culminated in the season 4. We split it into 2, where we had a music finals and a comedy finals, and that was very ambitious and maybe a little too ambitious, but it worked out. We did it. It was great, but we kind of hit our limit of how many people we were going to reach, at one venue. So a lot of people would tell me, hey, maybe you should go to Scranton, maybe you should do it again in Wilkes-Barre, that kind of thing. So it just worked out that Vinny at the V-Spot was incredibly interested in what we were doing, and he already, supports local artists as it is every week, so it just made it a natural fit to bring it there. So
A great fit.
Probably
The best fit.
I would say the best fit out of everything that we've done so far. I think the V-Spot has been the most accepting of it, and the audiences, I think, have been the best. People
V-Spot
really
1,
respond.
Woodlands 2, Thirsties 3.
That's fair. That's fair.
Tom, tell us for you.
So we did. So the V-Spot season, I think, went really well. We had amazing turnouts to the point where we were actually breaking V-Spot attendance records, which is really hard to do considering they're pretty much packed every night of the week,
Yep.
Especially on the weekends. But like even during the week, I was just there yesterday, and it was
Rich, you lush.
pretty jammed. And so it was, it's cool that we're able to come back. Our sponsors are this season are Samuel Adams, which is through LT Verastro, who's a beer distributor in the area.
Great guys there.
Awesome guys, always really supportive of this thing.
Steve
for years
Eshelman
now.
is like I think he almost won like fan of the year.
He should have.
Well, he should have. Yeah, I mean, I voted as much as I could for him.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Steve's a great guy. I just got off the phone with him the other day, and he was just he was just happy to get back into it and support it in any way he can. So they're offering this season. Last time we did kind of a staycation package, which we said, oh, we'll get some concert tickets, ski passes to Montage, that kind of thing to show you all the cool things that are going on in the area. And, something that you could do that was cheap and easy. You didn't have to drive far to do and that kind of thing. And he kind of went above and beyond and was like, oh, well, I'm going to throw a full grill in there. So, I mean, he gave people like an actual like full, couple $100 grill and all kinds of, I think there was some deck chairs and things like that. A really cool little package that he was able to put together. And we gave away shirts and all that kind of stuff as well. $250 cash for the top prize winner, $100 cash for the second place winner, and who I hope will be back this season because I think they could definitely take it if they want it. And then recording studio time as well. 10 hours of free recording studio time, which, that any musician can tell you is expensive. So this season, I thought, well, what can we do to maybe take it up a notch a little bit, maybe add something extra. So we're still going to do the $250 cash for the grand prize, $100 cash for the second prize. This time we actually have some new sponsors. After Image Studios in Scranton, they actually won Recording Studio of the Year in last year's Steamtown Music Awards. And Tom has always been really supportive of everything that we do, and so I approached him the other day about it, and he was all about it and kind of went above and beyond. He said, "Oh, if they'll give if you did 10 hours last time, I'll do 20." So I'm like, "Wow, okay." So in that case, why don't we add something to the second prize as well? So we're going to give 15 hours of recording studio time to the first place winner, and 5 hours of recording studio time to the second place winner. So the second place winner will not only get $100, but also get a couple hours of recording time. So I think that's pretty cool that Tom was able to do that for us. So I appreciate it.
That's got to be a few $100s, right? If not $1,000.
Easily, yeah, definitely. I think I have 15 hours. It's got to be probably at least $1,000, if not more. So I mean, that's quite the value, especially if you're a local band. If you're a local comedian, I don't know, maybe you can record a book on tape or something, or record a comedy act.
Maybe you can record a cassette tape.
You could, if you
put it out on the streets.
The
hit those millennials.
They're back into the old technology again. Vinyl's back, cassettes are back, so maybe you could do that.
Gotta find a tape player.
Yeah. Or you could, give it to a friend if you want. It's your prize. You could do what you want with it. But we've had, a comedian, the first comedian who ever won, Zach Hammond, had his CD recorded by us, which was pretty cool. And so he did a live CD, because at the time we had somebody who had a mobile recording thing. So he actually did one live, and it was pretty cool. And we've had musicians that also have recorded their CDs. So the one funny enough, so the one band won, and then they broke up like right after. So they recorded a bunch of stuff, and then it never came out because they broke up. But I mean, that's how bands are. So kind of sucks, but at least they got the opportunity to record, so they kind of got that experience, because like anything, you learn from it as you go. And then I also talked to AJ Jump, who is the co-owner of Carl Hall, and I'm sure you've seen our article about it. It's been all over for a while. That Carl Hall is a brand new venue opening up in downtown Wilkes-Barre, in the Polish Union building. So I wanted to do something to tie in with that and promote that all ages shows are back in Wilkes-Barre. Ever since Cafe Metro closed, I think, people have been searching for that type of venue again, where you can host all ages shows and stuff, and he's going to do it. I mean, it's a small venue, can maybe host about 130 people, but it's still, it's nice, it's beautiful, it's not as shall I say, scummy as Cafe Metro got, especially by the end of its run.
Have you guys been down there?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
It looks completely different now, but
yeah,
at the time, especially the last how many shows that were there, it was like they didn't care anymore.
No, but Carl Hall, have you guys been?
Oh, Carl Hall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
I've only seen the pictures. I actually haven't seen it in person yet.
Yeah, I haven't either.
It's bigger. It's bigger than it feels.
Is it?
The pictures look good.
AJ will have to tell us all about it.
Yes, we're going to have AJ on the show next week to talk about the venue and all his plans for it. If you want to know about the shows, he already has a website up about all the upcoming shows. We post about it as well on NEPAscene.com, so if you haven't read that article yet, check that out. So as part of the grand prize, the winner of this season will get to headline a show at Carl Hall on Saturday, July 28th. So we already have the date set. It's about maybe a month or so after the finals are over, so we have time to plan it and promote it and that kind of stuff. So, and then that headliner can help us choose who the other people are going to be on the bill as well. So we're trying to build a show around whoever the headliner is. This would be a cool way to get, Carl Hall's name out there, and also, do a show there, because they already have a couple months worth of stuff booked. So I wanted to get in there while we could,
Yeah.
So thank you to Tom at After Image Studios, and thank you to AJ Jump for doing that. That's really awesome. I think it adds a lot of value to what we are already doing as well. So you get everything that we were doing before, plus some. So please come out. Please come out regularly. It'll be this coming Tuesday. Now, one of the things I wanted to address too was, we had a guy in the Facebook event who, was complaining and saying a lot of the same things that I've heard a million times about what we do. So I kind of wanted to address it a little bit.
Did you get his name?
I need a beer for this.
We definitely need a beer for that.
Did you get his address?
Oh, I know who it is.
Did you send him a glitter bomb?
Yeah.
That's what we should start
We'll
doing.
have Freddie Fabry send him a telegram.
Dildogram.
He's like, if a nasty internet comment came to life, this is what he would look like, essentially. So
I had my own internet battle today on Facebook.
Ooh, with who?
I'm not going to get into it right now. Maybe a few more beers.
Send us some screenshots.
And we'll talk. I'll send the shots of the screens. Where were we? Sorry.
Rich was calling out some guy on the internet. He was going to say his full name, and we
Troll.
were going to go to his house.
no, I won't get into who he is. But point being, whenever you do a contest, and whether that is a talent contest like this, or an award show like the Electric City Music Conference and stuff like that. We had a great podcast about that, if you haven't seen it yet. And we kind of got into some of the haters and the people who can't accept that maybe they didn't win or something like that. It's funny because with any of those types of events, whenever you do them, if people don't win, all they do is complain about it and they hate it and whatever. And then the next year, if they do win, they're like, it's the best thing ever. It's so great. I'm so glad they have this thing and whatever. And people need to realize, like, especially with this type of stuff, it's done so regularly that eventually it'll be your turn. If you put in your time and you do hard work, eventually people will recognize it. Maybe not all the time, but a good portion of the time. People will recognize what you're doing.
Guess how you don't
and if
win.
you have patience, they always will eventually anyway.
Sure. Absolutely. And you can't, just because it didn't go your way this time, you should be happy that other people are getting recognized and kind of be part of the overall event. Which one's this one?
This is the Perpetual IPA.
I like it.
Hopped up.
Ooh, very hoppy.
You know how you don't win contests? By being an asshole.
Yes, that's exactly right. So the reason that people say they don't win isn't because of themselves, of course. It's always somebody else. Every week when we let the audience vote, they can vote for whoever they like. And people think that that's not fair, that we should have a panel of judges come every single week to the 12-week event and judge. And then this person said, and then we should be able to pick who the judges are. I'm like, well, that's interesting. So now you want to pick?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now you're claiming bias, and you're saying he said it's not really a contest. It's a popularity contest, is what it is. Well, I hate to break it to you, but life is a popularity contest. And
look at our president.
I could certainly tell you that I pretty much never win the popularity contest. I'm not too worried about that. You could still get through life. You could still get your stuff out there. You don't have to win the popularity contest or cry about it all the time, because that's not going to help you win in the future. So with the audience vote, the reason that we do that is to get people to come out and participate and make people feel like they're part of the event, that they're not just bystanders. There are some people who, no matter what we do, are just going to drink their beer and not pay attention to the stage and whatever. That's fine. That's your prerogative. But there are plenty of people who, after a couple of people get up there, they're kind of interested and invested in it, and they want to be part of the show. So, a lot of people have complained, well, if I just bring 20 or 30 of my friends and they all vote for me, then I could definitely get in. Well, first of all, we make everybody vote for their top 2 favorite people. So they're not just voting for themselves or their friend. They have to vote for somebody else to try and make it a little more fair.
It's a good move.
The other thing too is that you're gonna have that anywhere. It's kind of sometimes the luck of the draw. I've seen comedians go in one night and they absolutely kill, and then the next time they go and nobody pays attention and nobody thinks they're funny. And it might even be the same act. They just, it's just not your night. It happens. It happens to the best of us. It happens to some of the best artists in the area. It's just the way that it is. But, we try to be as fair with the audience vote as we can. But if we were to have judges in, then I think we would get the same people would then complain, oh, well, these judges are biased. Because I hate to break it to you, it's Northeast PA. Everybody knows everybody around here. So if we were to have somebody in there, I guarantee that judge knows at least 1 or 2 of those people on that stage that night. It's a guarantee, especially at the V Spot, which is just a big hangout in Scranton. So they're probably going to be biased and vote for who they thought was the best, or in that case, it might be somebody that they know because they're going to pay more attention to that person. So there's no guarantee that panel of judges. When we do the finals, it's set up very differently, where I try to pick people that definitely wouldn't know anybody in the finals, and there are a variety of people. We try to pick somebody who's a comedian or a comedy expert, along with somebody who is a musician or a music expert, and so on and so forth. And then somebody who's maybe completely unbiased in both senses. They do something completely different. They're a radio host or something like that, like Mr. Popko here. So
What?
Somebody who is a fan of everything. So he's not gonna pick just a musician or just a comedian because he happens to be that.
I don't want to tank my ratings either, so.
Right.
All my listeners. Every single one of them.
I think you have a good audience.
I think so, too.
Going with your show.
It's still hopefully growing.
Yeah, well, and that's it's tough too, because you're playing artists that are unknown to to the general populace.
Mm-hmm.
To most people, they might not know who these people are unless they follow the local music scene.
Yeah.
So they have to give it a chance, and that's tough. I mean, we run into the same
I
thing.
feel like once they give it a chance, though, they're gonna immediately be engaged in it because it's all really good music that you're playing.
Right.
It just
I mean, we
happens to
deal
be
with the
local.
same thing with the open mic. You're guaranteed that most people there aren't going to know who's on the stage, and you have to get them invested, and that's tough. That's a tough job. I think it's always an uphill battle, because even people who say that they support local or they love local artists, at the end of the day, how often do they really go out and support those local artists? And a lot of them can tell you that, with a lot of empty bars and empty clubs around here, it's not the way that it used to be, and not as many people are showing up for that stuff. So it doesn't matter what format, whether it's on a website or on a radio show or whatever. It's tough to get people to tune into something that they don't already know what they're getting.
It's also 9 o'clock on a Saturday. I'm not setting the world on fire.
Yeah.
Brittany's sleeping. You're sleeping.
I set my alarm 9 o'clock.
I'm sleeping.
But you're also providing a service to the musicians who want to get their music out on the radio.
Yeah.
So they can say, now, I've been on the radio.
Yeah, it's definitely cool. And it's nothing, I think I said this before, I'm not doing anything new.
Right.
But I am playing and providing a platform for artists who have not and will not be played anywhere else.
Right.
So
Yet.
we'll leave it at that.
Exactly, yet, Or are there people who...
Well, locally, on a local level.
Most people don't even know around here that, successful bands like the Menzingers or Motionless in White or any of those guys that...
Tiger's Jaw.
That have toured the world, and they still don't know that they're from here.
Yeah.
It's important to know those people, too, and give them radio play in their hometown.
Yeah, it's cool. I've had a lot of fun doing it. Again, I said this before, I don't get paid for it. It's more of a passion project for me. I love doing it.
Right.
I think every week now, the past maybe 4 or 5 weeks, I've debuted either a new band or a new track from a band. Like this weekend, I'll have the new one from Stay Loud. Those guys, I'm honored. Thank you guys. They came to me and said, we want you to debut our brand new song. It's not going to be released until Sunday, so you'll have it first, and I want you to play it. So it's pretty neat. You know?
Nice.
So, yeah, it's cool.
And they're playing not this Warped Tour in Scranton, but they're playing one of the other ones.
Yeah. I mean,
which is pretty cool.
Close, decent.
Yeah, not
it's
too
close,
far away.
yeah.
I think Burgettstown or something like that.
Yes,
maybe?
that's it. Yes.
Is it?
Yep.
So that's pretty cool. You know, like
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of talent here. There's really a lot of talent, and I almost feel like I felt before I did the show like I knew what the hell was going on, and then when I started doing it and bands started submitting, I'm like, I have no fucking clue what's going on. Like, and I'm like, thank you for sending me this stuff. This is great, you know.
yeah.
So, yeah, as much as you guys appreciate it, I hope you do, and I also appreciate the opportunity. So, thank you.
I like your radio voice.
You do have a good radio voice.
I was told I had a face for radio. That's what I've been told. That joke never gets old. It's that's.
the
I
old
have a
go-to.
book of jokes that don't get old. You have a voice for radio. Your wife is
They're
way
like,
out of your
you're
league.
dad now. Those are dad jokes, and you have to tell them.
Yeah,
at
it's
least.
dad. Yeah, it's dad. The dad joke book.
You have to like embarrass
Your wa-
Lincoln in front
yeah.
of waiters for the rest of your life now.
Yeah, radio.
telling those jokes.
Face for radio. Your wife's way out of your league.
That one, I'm like, you know what? That one's got. It's just like that one you don't get enough of. I feel like
That's like the first one actually. That's the number one on the list.
yeah.
Fuckers, you fucks.
We're nice to you here, though.
To your face.
I've been making
Yeah.
fun of you on. I've been making fun of you on the thing the whole time.
In the comments?
Oh yeah, I've been blasting you all day.
Good.
So your shirt sucks. You're bald. All the good stuff.
You accidentally.
Stuff you've heard before.
Yeah, you accidentally shaved your goatee off, you fucking idiot.
Did you?
I did.
Did you have one? How long have I been
Remember
gone?
you having a goatee?
So I've had a
you should just grow a soul patch.
How
I've had
long
a
have I been
goatee
gone
since
for?
in high school, and my wife. To give you perspective, I've known my wife for over 10 years, and this is the first time she's ever seen me without a goatee. So I obviously use the same.
Have I been like living in an alternate
Am
universe?
I dead?
I've always had this
Are you
Yeah.
punking us?
So I use a one of those buzzers to do my head, obviously.
Sure.
So because I've accepted the fact that I'm
Just like
using my
around and like down. And
Well, I put it on a different setting for this, and I kept it on the same setting and just went,
fucked it up.
fuck. And once the one half's gone, you gotta get rid of the
Well,
whole
at least
thing.
that part will grow back.
Yeah, it's true. So I don't know why I did that, but
I haven't not had facial hair. It's probably been at least 12 years. Well, I've had some form. Let's say that. I have not had a beard. in,
Would you do
12
like
years.
just a mustache?
No, I've done it before. There's a picture of that. It's fucking creepy as shit. And no one should ever do that.
it's very
No
hard.
one should ever do that. I've had a chin strap, which is like
You were not kidding about that one. Though.
looking back on it. That's
you
a
were
rookie
dead
mistake.
serious there.
Right.
Oh yeah, chin
My brother
strap.
always had the chin strap.
Oh, you had to. You had to. Late 90s, early 2000s.
I always made the mistake. I always think, the kid with like the pork chops, but I don't think that's what they're called.
No.
Meat chops?
No.
What are they called? I'd always call them pork chops. People would be like, "What are you talking about?
What are they called?
Are they called pork chops? Because I don't be calling this.
No.
Mutton chops.
Mutton chops.
Is it
Mutton
mutton
chops.
chops? Yeah.
I'd be calling people pork chops when they had mutton chops.
Hey, there's
But
pork
they're like,
chops.
Yeah. They're like, what's wrong with her? Pork chops.
I had a goatee at one point. Well, when I first started growing facial hair, I had a little chin. I had no jaw, so they had to hide it. Probably that guy who like eventually shaves his face, and like my kid will like, do the whole like crying thing, like, who the fuck are you? This is terrible. Like, you're not my father.
Joe Craig says, without original music, cover bands would be out of business. That's what I used to say when I did NEPA Rebellion. That's very true. Good point.
Mutton chops. He said it too.
Mutton chops.
The Snyder said, thank you from Blind Choice. Yeah, they were the members of Blind Choice were in that other band, and they didn't get to put out the CD, but you should check out Blind Choice because they're awesome, and they're doing some really good stuff.
I've played a tune or two.
You have?
Just one. Maybe I'll get to the other ones. Maybe.
Russell says muffin chops.
That works too. I like that.
Okay with that. Not to be confused with muffin top.
Not to be
Exactly.
confused with pork chops either.
Right.
Muffin
right.
top, muffin chops, pork chops. Let's get weird.
And applesauce.
I was going to say that too. Pork chops and apple sauce.
Ryan Doherty, what's up?
What's up, Ray?
I've been playing a lot of his stuff with what the fuck? Shit.
Yeah, with
Death
what the
Valley
fuck-
Dreams.
Death Valley Dreams is fucking amazing.
Yeah, and they've been like quiet for like a year and a half.
Yeah.
So I've been stuck playing your song when we were young, but I did just see them post some video footage of.
John Youngcondi did a video for them just recently.
Yeah, so I'm kind of excited about that. Does that mean you guys are back, or what are you doing?
You actually might be able to see that video premiere on NEPA Scene.
Oh,
Stay tuned.
sick plug.
Yeah, we've been in some talks about premiering that. So there's a movie called Baby Frankenstein that was made right here in northeastern Pennsylvania, and they did a
We'll
song
have to have him on the show.
that's going to be on it. Yeah, I think that would be a really cool show. And so we've talked about doing it once the movie gets closer to release, and so this music video might be a good way to start with that.
Cool. Yeah, Ryan, get on it.
Yes.
Soon, he
absolutely.
says.
Soon. Okay.
So the other thing about contests that we get a lot too is why do people think that's important? Like I mean, we even one of our own columnists at one point, one of our music columnists, Fudd, did a thing about it, and I don't censor the columnists anyway. They can have their own opinions and say what they want to say, even if I don't necessarily agree with it, as long as it's not something like crazy that I would never publish. And he's of the opinion of a lot of people are that the contests really divide people, that it just makes everybody mad at each other and all the bands get pissed, and then
There's truth to that.
It's
It's like having a battle of the bands, and like
absolutely.
we've discussed this a million times before on the show.
Yep.
I won't get into it until you're done.
Right. People get real butthurt if they don't win, and they think the other guy isn't as good as they are because they worked so hard and stuff. And I get that. I completely get that. There's I can't tell you how many times that I've thought about that in terms of other publications. We're in competition whether I like it or not. And so if the other guy does something good, I'm like, oh man, I wish I did that. That was great. I'm happy for them that I'm glad they did that, but at the same time, it's like, oh, I wish I did that too. And that kind of thing. And I've been told that they feel the same way about us, and vice versa. So, but when it comes to that kind of thing, I think it helps overall because, first of all, this is all money and prizes and things that would not go to anybody if we didn't do this. So if we didn't do any kind of contest, the money that comes out of it, which is usually donated by the sponsors and things like that, that would go to other things that aren't local arts. So if you want the money to go elsewhere, that's fine. But I think it's better spent on local artists who oftentimes are asked to do free stuff. And that was part of the reason why we really did turn it into this big event, is artists are asked to do free stuff all the time. Do benefit shows for everybody and stuff like that. And they all do it without complaint most of the time. These people are really generous and always doing free stuff for everybody. And they get nothing in return for it, no money or anything like that. Barely some recognition, maybe their name on a poster or something, and that's about it. So it's nice to see something where we can actually give back to the artists and give them recording studio time that sometimes they have to save up for years to get. This is something that we can give them all in one shot. So it's not something where recording studios are just handing out free time to everybody. So I think it's important that we do it from that end of it, because we're helping a lot of artists that maybe wouldn't have those opportunities otherwise get those opportunities. But the other aspect of it is I think people need to learn to grow up and get along. And the open mic, I think, and I've said this, and it sounds cheesy, and I've said it a million times, and I said it to this guy that I was talking about earlier who did not seem to agree, but the best way to grow the scene is to get people together in the same room and see each other and appreciate each other. And we've done that through the open mics. We've created bands, we've created other events. The artists have met at our stuff and gone on to do other things. They've gotten gigs, gotten paid gigs because they did our event. They met their bandmates, they met their friends. They,
Fell in love.
In one case, they met their future spouse. So there's always other benefits that you can get out of these types of things. So it's so important to bring people together, and that's what this contest does. The contest part of it is very much a marketing thing, and I've always admitted that from the beginning. It's a way to get people in the door. If you say free cash, people are certainly going to go to that over something else where they may not get anything at all. There's no reward. They'll show up and there's 2 people in the audience. So we can guarantee you that we will get you in front of a real audience of people. We can't guarantee that they're always going to pay attention or that they're not going to be rowdy or whatever. But that's part of the growing process. If you're a band who goes to an open mic, you have to kind of expect that kind of thing. It's going to happen.
But even at the end of the day, whether there's a crowd there or not, it gives you the opportunity to hone your skills.
Absolutely.
Because you
Especially if
can only do
you're
so
stage
much.
fright.
You can only do so
Getting
much
over
in
that
your
kind of
in your bedroom mirror. Like
Especially if you're a comedian. At least if you're a musician, you can play in your room and you can hear the song and say, okay, this sounds really good. With
Right.
a comedian, you can tell all the jokes you want to the mirror. You don't know if they're actually
but
funny
even
until
as a
you tell them
musician
to an
though,
audience.
you could think it sounds awesome, but you get in front of the room
true.
and this fucking sucks.
Right, exactly. Or you're talking to other musicians who maybe could help you
Right.
get
Absolutely.
better.
No, it's definitely a win-win. And I don't think people understand how important it is,
Exactly.
and it's that's the thing.
Right. So I mean
They
that's
take it for granted. Open mic, oh, there's been rookie fucking people there, and like this is stupid, and I'm not doing that. And
But you know what? I wanted to debunk that, so I actually had Jeff Ross on the phone the other day.
get out of here.
Jeff Ross, who is doing a show with David
The
Tell.
roast guy?
This Friday, yes, the roast master himself.
Fuck.
So we're going to have an interview with him. It should be up tomorrow. I meant to post it today. I just didn't get the time with everything going on. I wanted to kind of put the finishing touches on it. But I had a really cool conversation with Jeff Ross the other day. He's playing at the Sands Bethlehem Event Center with David Tell. They're doing a joint show together, which is pretty cool, where they're on stage at the same time. So they're both doing jokes and playing off each other and stuff like that. So it's a really unique event. They're both really funny guys. So if you like Comedy Central, you like the Comedy Central roasts especially, you're going to love that show.
Did you ask him what hairstyle he had while you were talking to him on the phone?
You know what? I was wondering that. I didn't ask him because, sometimes he's bald and sometimes he's got
braids, like dreads, whatever.
Right, he's got this huge head of hair.
Cornrows. I'm sorry. Yes,
Yeah.
cornrows.
I did not know, but I wanted to really ask him about the open mics. And It was funny because the first thing he said was, that's how he got into comedy, was he did an open mic and he killed it the first time he did it. And that gave him the courage to keep going. So the next 15 times he did it, he bombed miserably.
Right.
Nobody gave a shit. People heckled him, whatever. But he kept at it because he would learn a little bit here and a little bit there. Okay, that joke worked, that didn't work, and that kind of thing. And he honed his stuff. And now, he's one of the biggest comedians that's out there touring right now. Definitely one of the most recognizable that even your general audience would know. And he said, I said, so now that you're at the level that you are, you can sell out arenas and stuff. He just opened for Chris Rock a couple months ago. He did a couple shows with Chris Rock. And I said, now that you're at the level that you are open mics still a thing? Are they still important to you? He said he still goes to open mics on a regular basis. If he's in town for a couple of days doing a show or something like that, he'll try to find the closest open mic.
I think every
and go and hit
musician,
them up.
musician, every comedian does that.
Yeah.
I mean, well, first of all, for his show, that roast battle, whatever, I've seen guys win that or just be on it and get close. They're opening up for guys like Joe Rogan and shit like that.
Right.
But like, Joe Rogan will go to open mics just to work on material, just to get it. I love Joe Rogan, so fuck you. But no, but like comedians in general, like it's just something they do.
Right.
It's really cool.
So don't underestimate the importance of the open mic to what you do, and certainly don't underestimate the people that are going to show up. So if you're not one of those people who wants to get on stage, that's fine. Please just show up. I think you're going to have a really good time, and you're going to be surprised by the stuff that you see. So that's enough about that. We've talked a lot about it. The other thing I want to mention is our photographer Keith Perks, who we've had on the
I'm
show.
fucking done with this.
Okay, bye. So he's doing a First Friday show coming up, and called Scene, and it's a photography exhibition. He's been doing this for 10 years now, 3 years with us, but 10 years overall of covering stuff in the local scene. He's put together, shows and compilation CDs and all that kind of stuff in the past. So now he is putting together a show at the Bog that's coming up. It's this coming First Friday, and be 5 to 9. And he convinced a whole bunch of bands, 19 different acts in the area. Most of them are still active. There's a couple of them that have broken up, but they're still doing other stuff in the scene. And put together a compilation CD, which you don't really see much anymore. I think that's kind of a dead art.
No, I
for the
think it's a
most
cool
part.
art though.
I love compilation CDs. I've discovered a lot of cool bands that way.
Like, I always discovered really cool bands from soundtracks, which is essentially a compilation CD.
Right, exactly. And remember, I don't know if they still have them, but Gallery Sound used to have the Monitor This
Oh my god, I
compilations.
forgot about that.
I discovered lots of cool bands through those. Every time I went to the record store, I
Like
picked
Now
something up.
3.
Yeah.
I had Now 3.
Did you?
Now it's like Now 43.
No, it's more. I think it's over 100.
Oh
now.
my god. They just
Easily.
be like then. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's too much.
It is kind of too much.
But compilation CDs.
But compilation CDs are fucking
especially a
cool.
local compilation CD. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So not only is it a compilation of bands, but it's all brand new songs, demo songs, or completely unreleased songs that nobody's ever heard before. So there's an amazing set of acts on there. I'll go down the list real quick. Idle Hands, Down to Six, Fire with Friends, Black Hole Heart, Luna Salerta, Kalima and the Garland of Arms, who actually were in our finals of our open mic last year. American Buffalo Ghost, The Charming Beards, Zaire Mountain, University Drive, Estacota, Mercy Gang, featuring Jay Presson and Ed Kuzo. I Know You See Me by Lucas Hex, Alpha Audio, Silhouette Lies, Machine Arms, Vulture Peak, Mind Power, and The Hill You Die On. So that's a pretty awesome
That's a nice lineup.
lineup, and a very good variety of stuff. I mean, there's rap, there's rock, there's metal, there's all kinds of stuff on there. So he actually offered, which I thought was really generous of him,
Oh, you still have some.
to have the CD is going to be somewhere in the $5 range, and he's only going to make 100 or so copies. It'll be available at the Bog from 5 to 9 when they do this release show, and all the money is going to benefit NEPA Scene. So
Johnny's
good?
back.
Keith, I was just kidding, dude.
He's dead serious. Just kidding.
no,
So
Sorry.
I poured us some beer, but not you, Rich. The Trogs Dreamweaver.
Wasn't even more than that.
I know. I figured you might, but I thought we would never see
Oh,
you again.
okay. Jesus.
So all the details of this, if you don't want to hear me blab, are right on the front page right now of NEPA Scene.
I feel like Keith should make cassettes. I
He
feel
should
like
make-
Keith would make cassettes.
I think he would. I can't imagine. That's got to be more expensive, though, or at least more time consuming. Than it
Making
would be to put-
cassettes?
Yeah.
I don't know. I used to do it.
Because I think he's getting
Just send them to fucking China.
he's
Get
getting
it
the
done
CDs
overnight.
printed. So
Kidding again.
They're actually like legit. They're not just like burned off.
Well, I feel like the
from
more
CD.
people you involve in something, like obviously, like the more successful it's gonna be. So like
Right.
when we want to kind of like share our art with other people, it almost makes it less scary.
Right.
To like a compilation CD. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Kind
exactly.
of like. But that's cool that like how it's like a collaborative of like an entire community of artists and musicians and
Right.
and like two aspects of it, like the audio aspect of it and the photography aspect of it. Because Keith must have years of.
Oh yeah. Well, he said that's the toughest part about doing it is putting the show together and deciding what photos are going to make it into the show. It's not necessarily who the artist is, but more, is it a good photo? Is it going to catch your eye? That kind of thing. So
Yeah, there's so many variables.
There's so it'll be a really cool display of his art as well as that, and then. As the art show comes to a close, at 8:30, they're going to have live music with 4 of those bands, American Buffalo Ghost, Idle Hands, S Dakota, and Mercy Gang. So they're all going to perform live as well to kind of close out the night and everything. So it's really going to be a cool event.
I've played every single one of those bands on my show except the last one.
Mercy Gang?
Yeah. So
Are they hip hop?
They're hip-hop, yeah.
I don't have a limit. I don't have a genre limitation.
We know you hate
As long as there's no
hip-hop,
F words and the shits.
You can't say the fuck word.
You can't say the fuck word.
No. But other than that, you can on this show.
Yeah, so
wanna come on our
that's
show.
why I'm here.
People just come on the show just to.
Yeah, can I curse? Yeah, fuck.
They really do.
Yeah. So if it's clean, if you have a clean version, send it over.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Well, let's. I mean, we've done enough plugging about what I'm up to and what we're doing. How has the show been going? I mean, you've been doing that for how long now?
I just did my 31st show last week.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I don't think I've got any better.
Well, that's a ringing endorsement.
I mean, that's fine. I mean, it's not about me.
You gotta get into the groove.
It's not about me. It's not at all. I'm just kind of there to kind of guide you through. I do my best to. I think how I try to be different than other people who have done this before or currently doing it is kind of get in. I get out. I let you know who you heard, where you can find their music if you want to purchase it or listen to more, and I get into the next one and kind of tell you where they're playing next, where you can catch them out live, if they're in the studio working on some stuff, and I think that's what people really like is just it's very informative and it's not me blabbing about shit that I don't care about. It's
right
stuff that relates to the music and it's less of me giving them a bunch of shit.
Right.
So that's what I mean. Because that's what it's about. It's about those guys creating the music and showcasing that because there's a lot of talent in this area. And again, before I did the show, I thought I had my finger on the pulse, as they say, of the local music scene, and I was very mistaken. That's the word. But I'm so glad that I've been able to do it. And again, thank you guys for submitting your music to me and allowing me to debut songs and listening to Alt 92.1 and listening to me if you do and all that kind of stuff. I love it's this past year for me has been a wild ride in the sense of doing this and the radio show. I can't fucking talk in a normal conversation, let alone you put a microphone in front of me. I was just down at the at the bar at Barton Irby's in Wilkes-Barre. They were having a really nice event tonight. It was the Healthcare Heroes and Leadership
Trivia,
Wilkes-Barre
right?
doing the pub trivia for to donate money for the hospital. I think it was the Healthcare Heroes.
You don't even know what you're signing up for.
No, I was. Hey, we're here to raise money. I'm like, yeah, sign me up. I'm all about
How did it go?
donating my time. Yeah,
Good.
but I'm all about donating my time. Because people ask me to do stuff. I'm like, are you sure? Are you sure you want me to do this? Because I'm not good. I can't talk.
who am I?
I can't talk. But I mean, I guess that's part of being humble. I don't. I've been in this scene, in this industry for a long time, and I hope no one ever thinks that there's that cocksucker, Johnny.
That's exactly what I saw the first time. I thought when first time I saw you.
Yeah.
My wife will fucking
this
tell you.
POS?
My fucking wife. My wife will tell you. She met me as Johnny Weekender. She'll tell you that this fucking guy. But I'm not.
Right.
That's not who I am. And I don't like seeing my name. I don't like hearing my voice. I don't.
It's fun to kind of disprove people, or they have they think they have this idea of who you are, and then they meet you, and it's well, that was not at all what I thought.
Yeah. So yeah, but nice event down at Barton Irby's. A lot of great hosts.
Yeah, it looked
doing
like it
different.
was a
Yeah, it was
really good
nice.
time.
So thank you, Leadership Wilkes-Barre and Healthcare Heroes and Holly especially for having me be a part of it. But I was joking. I said thanks for having me go first. Well, I asked to go first because I didn't want to.
Missed the podcast.
Oh my God, my wife, Johnny Mumbles. You know what? You know what? You're waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning
And
to
still
feed our
functioning,
Hashtag
so.
humble brag.
to feed our child. I'm not doing it. Not doing it.
Hirsch has a comment there too.
Johnny F Bomb. Yeah, I like that. Johnny Suit, Johnny F Bomb. But I was joking around saying that it's good that I'm going first because once I'm done, the night can go only up from here. So, but yeah, it was a good event. But back to doing that kind of stuff. When people ask me to do those things, I'm happy to help and donate my time. Like,
Yep.
I'm a big advocate for NEPA, and as you guys know, and I'm honored when people do ask me. I hope I don't let them down. That's always my biggest fear is like them saying like, "Oh man, like you fucking asked this guy." Like, "Oh, this guy sucks." Like this is
No one's like thinking back. Like,
Whose
oh, man,
choice
remember
was
that
this?
time we asked Johnny Popko to like
No,
introduce
it's-
us and like totally ruin the whole
it's
night?
It's never like a year later. It's like the night, like that moment, like, "Oh my God, this guy sucks. Who did this?" Like, so hopefully, I don't let anybody down. But I'm not the. I remember a kid. It was 10 years ago saying like, "Oh, I thought you were an asshole and blah blah. Like you're not that at all." Like, yeah, I'm a nice guy. That's how I married my wife.
Being a nice guy.
Being a nice guy, you know. And since then, we've recently just had she had our first child. He's 12 weeks old today.
Congrats.
That's pretty wild.
Gosh, that went fast.
Right?
Yeah. Well, you were there when he was like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You know, taking photos of him, and he's much better now.
Is he? I love
Yeah.
the pictures.
Oh, it's. I never thought that I could love something so much in my entire life.
Like a
and that's
whole new
not.
world.
Everyone says that, and like when you don't have kids, you're like, "Oh, this fucking guy is just fucking jerking shit off." Like, but no, it's serious. Like it's like
It's a whole new world.
my wife will send me photos of him while I'm at work because she's home with him, and it just melts my heart. And it's like I wish I was home and not at work, and I'm so excited just to be his father and hopefully teach him right from wrong and be the best I can, and it's a wild experience. If you have kids or if you don't have kids, like the first 4 weeks of like our life together was like, what the fuck did we do? What did we do? This is crazy. And I thought I was prepared. I'm like, I'm expecting the worst. Like
Yeah.
we got this, no big deal. Our relationship is the foundation is solid. We're good.
Yep.
But it's completely worse than you could ever imagine. But you get through it, and we were unfortunate. That, well, he more so than us. Like
Yeah.
he had reflux, so he'd wake up in pain and all upset. And so it wasn't his fault, but like it was just like every hour we're just like, what the fuck are we doing? But after 5 weeks, he started sleeping through the night. Like he'll go to bed at like 7, 8 o'clock at night. He'll sleep until 3, 4 o'clock. Wake up. I'll feed him, put him back down, and he'll sleep till about 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning, which has been excellent. And but after that 4 or 5 week period, and you start getting those smiles. Oh my God! Like there's nothing.
You see
There's
the personality. come
there's
through.
nothing. There's
Yeah.
nothing better in life when you see your child smile at you, and he's just a huge smiler now. Like people come over and look at him and just they'll smile at him and he'll smile back, and he's cooing and cawing now. It's fucking incredible. It really is. It's wild. It's a wild experience. I am so happy that we're on this journey together, and thank you, Amanda, for doing this with me, and we'll see what the next year brings. But
Life's good.
life's good. Life is very good. I'm very fortunate. So, my child, the radio show, that's kind of what I've been up to in the past year.
Cheers to Lincoln being 12 weeks old.
Yes, Lincoln. His name's Lincoln. And Abe Lincoln.
Honest Abe.
Lincoln John.
LJ.
LJ if he likes it. If he hates his name, he can be LJ, he can be Link. He can take John if he wants to and just skip his first name and have my name. I don't
Lincoln
give a shit.
Weekender.
Let's not get out of control here. Let's not get the trains off the track. Jesus. But that's all I have. What about you?
Well,
You've been busy.
I have. I thought it wouldn't be busy recently. I thought this would be my slow time. I was wrong.
I don't think you've had any slow time.
I have been like nonstop. And it's been hard, but I've been really good at like reminding myself that it's not anything to be angry or sad about. It's something to be like really happy and excited about.
Yeah.
It's just been crazy. I feel like I've just been going and going and going and going and like trying to learn in the process, you know? So the past year has just been a crazy roller coaster of like figuring out how to run a business, which is like
Because you've
from
never,
like
you've never
nothing.
done that before.
I've never done that before. I didn't know anything about it. I wasn't educated in it. But it's like one of those things you just kind of like jump in the deep end and
Yeah.
you know, figure out as you go and pick up the pieces. So that was really overwhelming. In photography is overwhelming because it's just like one of those things that you never ever stop learning. You know, so it's like just trying to focus on what I do and focus on getting better at what I do and focus on learning every aspect of what goes into like operating a business by yourself.
Well, that's the key too, right there, is admitting that you can always do better and you can always do more.
Yeah, like I just feel like I have miles and miles and miles to go. But I don't see that as, you know, deterrent. I see that as like I'm excited.
Yeah.
You know, once I start seeing things come together and how much I love doing it and how much I didn't realize I would love the business aspect of it. Like I love marketing and I love advertising and I love like doing all that stuff. I had no idea. I love sales. Like I would have like a couple leave the studio and walk down the hall and I'll be like, oh my God, that was awesome.
I just took them for all their
I'm
work.
like, I'm gonna, yeah, like I'm just like,
Suckers.
that's exactly what I'm just kidding.
Jackpot.
Yeah. Like laughing all the way to the
No,
bank.
no,
No,
no.
I'm just kidding.
No, yeah.
But that's a part of it too, is like learning how to be ethical and how to be fair and how to like stand by your product and all those things that go into operating a business and doing it right. And I don't know, like I just found I had learned that kind of stuff a little bit in real estate school. Like, you know, no two people should walk away from a business deal feeling anything but okay about
Right.
like initially like what they spent. Like I always say, like if somebody's walking away from a deal like whoa, like I'm killing, you know what I mean, then it probably wasn't a fair deal.
Yeah.
But if two people are walking away from a deal feeling like okay, that seems like that made sense, you know, then it was a fair, you know what I mean, like kind of like learning that whole aspect of it, like what am I supposed to be charging? Like, how do I get people to pay it? And, like, you know what I mean? Like, when I think about all the hours that I work, and, like, there's just so many crazy things. And it's that quote, and I've said it before, but, like, working 80 hours a week for yourself to avoid working 40 hours a week for someone else, you know?
Sure.
That's really what it is. I mean, I know we all really work hard, but it's, like, just for me, like, I feel like it does not end, you know? Like, ever.
Well, that's why she hasn't been here in the past, like, 5 months.
Yeah, it's just been crazy. But I'm not complaining.
But no, good for you. That's
crazy.
That's awesome. And you've never come off as that. Like you always care. You don't even care too much about like your customers and your clients. You never come off as greedy. You always want the best for them. Whereas other people in the same business are just trying to make a buck, and they're gonna like, oh, wedding, cha-ching,
Yeah.
like
I mean,
money. Like no, like just like you're like fair and honest, and like here's what it's gonna take. You win. You make your money. They're happy with the product. At the end of the day,
And everyone walks away feeling comfortable with what just happened. No one walks away from feeling like, wow, like I'm really like rolling in the dough. You know?
I got taken for a ride.
Yeah.
I mean, I've priced out photographers, and it's like, buddy,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
There's like, I feel like there's two kinds of photographers in the business. There's photographers who are really like, okay, like they see the business aspect of it and they're like, wow, you know, like I could just kind of figure out how this stuff works and, you know, essentially make a ton of money from it. And then there's photographers who are just invested in it in more ways than just kind of like the business side of it. I learned the business side of it. I was invested in it because people were interesting to me and I wanted to like
Capture that.
Find a way, like, I was just having a conversation with another photographer friend of mine before I got here. But, like, capturing people, like, making them feel like themselves and making them feel good about themselves and making them look beautiful and making them look cool or making them, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they really are all those things, and, like, you kind of help them see that. That's, like, what got me initially hooked on it. And then once I started doing it and people started giving me money for it, they just never stopped giving me money for it. And now I have a photography business, you know, so it's just crazy. But then learning all the business parts, like, just out of nowhere, you know, like, okay, like, this is my budget to do this, and this is what works, and this is what doesn't work, and this is how I'm going to brand myself. You know what I mean? Like, finding all those things, it's just been cool. Like, it's a cool experience to kind of find your way without any kind of, like, map, you know?
Well, and you do all different kinds of photography, too. There's a lot of photography businesses that maybe they specialize in one particular thing, but, I mean, you can do pretty much everything.
Yeah, I feel like I'm kind of all over the place, you know?
Which, you know, I think shows the depth and breadth of, you know, the work
I feel like
that
that's
you're
why
doing.
it's also a lot of, like, a lot of the companies around here, they all work very hard and they all produce really quality work. But again, they all kind of do one thing. You know, they either just do
they
weddings
specialize in a specific type of photography.
I'll have days that are just, I wake up and I go in and I have a little 2-year-old, so I'm like laughing like Elmo, you know, and then I'll have like an hour later I'll have a couple, so it's like a little more of this intimate thing, and then 10 minutes later I'll have, you know, a senior. And they're, like, uncomfortable and awkward. So it's, like, I've had days that are just, like, I need to be a different kind of person to relate to.
Sure.
To so many different kinds of people all in the same, like, 6 hours. You know? So, because I do so many different types of photography, and the weeks are different than the weekends. And, like, I don't want to just do one thing. Like, I've been doing a lot of, like, just regular, like, corporate headshots lately. And I was like, this is, like, actually really fun. And I kind of love it. And then I'll do, like, newborns or babies and families. And I'm like, wow, this is a little intense, but I can handle it. You know what I mean? And then I end up like loving it.
Lincoln actually commented he apologizes for throwing up on two or three.
I get puked on too.
Two or three of your sets.
Good.
He just did comment. He said sorry. He's very sorry for doing that.
Yeah, but John, when are you going to apologize for also throwing up on those 2 or 3 sets?
I have not yet. Tonight might be the night.
maybe by the end.
Tell Lincoln it's okay. He can puke on any of my sets anytime.
Good little shit.
But that's just like the craziness of it. Is just like it's always different all the time. You know, and you're always learning. It's one of those things that you just don't ever stop figuring out.
And developing your own style and stuff too that can stand out, because there's so many great photographers in the area doing their own thing.
Yeah, and it's all great work.
Sure.
You know, but I've been working really, really hard to kind of set myself apart and, like, find my own style. And, like, I made a lot of mistakes along the way, you know? Like, I was just looking today, I'm doing a presentation on Tuesday for these students, and I was, like, trying to look through my old photos to find examples of bad photography. And I'm, like, looking at them, I'm like, oh, my God. And this is, like, last year. And I'm like, oh, my God, I think it was really bad. That whole thing's out of focus. Or
I charged for this?
Yeah, like, I was like, well, good thing I, like, got my shit together because, like, you know, it's just, I struggled for a while, like, finding my style and finding how I do things and, like, what I care about in the photo and what I want to portray and how I want my photos to look. And I feel like a lot of my style is more about the person in the photo, too, than, like, me taking the photo.
Right. What's going to work for them specifically.
Yeah, like, I definitely adapt to, like, people. Like, when I'm shooting them, like, I kind of catch their energy and I catch their personality, and I don't go too crazy, you know, from, like, my whole look that I'm going for, but, like, I definitely, like, allow myself to get influenced by them, you know, a little bit to, like, create their product for them. That's why I feel like it's so special and, like, so stylized, because it's not, like, every person comes to me. I don't have a couple that comes to me and I treat their photos like every other wedding, you know, or I treat their portraits like every other portrait, because they're not. Because every single person is different and every single couple is different. Every relationship is different. So, like, I actually do, like, kind of, like, tailor all of my sessions, and I don't realize I do it until afterwards. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like I'm like, okay, I'm definitely going to do that to their photo because, you know, it's like as I'm like editing is part of the art process for me is like, you know, they were really like I had one guy come in that did like a boudoir, you know, and
That's a thing?
yeah, and he actually had a prosthetic, so he kind of was like,
Oh, okay.
this like industrial like machine like thing, you know what I mean? So I just like kind of changed my style a little bit to like fit his thing, like doing things like that, like little tiny things to kind of adapt to the people that you're shooting. I feel like goes a long way, you know. So I feel like that's kind of like what I find myself doing, and I think what sets me apart from just being your traditional company, you know. I don't know, but what the hell do I know?
No, it definitely comes out.
I've been doing this for a year, you know. I don't know. I love it. And I'm not slowing down, and I don't plan to.
You're located in the canteen building?
The 900 Rudder Ave. Canteen's right there on the first floor, and there's like crazy art all over. And then I'm on the second floor there.
Okay. And
Yeah.
you have a nice little space in there, and it's
do.
cool to walk into.
Yeah.
Just the whole building has its own vibe.
Yeah, it's like always evolving, and it's always different, and it's always very welcoming to wacky things. And I think people like to go there, and I think people don't have really any issues spending their money there because they feel like they're not in Wilkes-Barre. They feel like they're in, like, you know, Soho.
Yeah.
So I think that people appreciate that experience, you know, the kind of like get out of their town for a minute without actually getting out of their town, because that's kind of what it feels like there. So I love it. You know, I don't know. I feel like photography is kind of a stepping stone to kind of like create all of my dreams and make them all happen. Like, I always am going to do photography, but I think it's like the first step to a lot of bigger things that I want to do and accomplish, you know? So I'm just motivated.
You have big plans?
I have a lot of big plans.
Well,
You know, some of them are a little, like, ambitious, and some of them are a little, like, crazy, and when I think about, like, how realistic they are, they're not at all. But,
you want to see your face on a billboard, don't you?
yeah, like, I'm...
I have that.
See, Johnny, I've been meaning to talk to you. No. But, like, you know, but then you think, like, once all these things start coming together, like, you're like, you see your dreams being so more reachable. So that's what's motivating me. Like, I see my dreams and all my things that I ever wanted for myself or, like, a family or anything, like, becoming so much closer and closer and closer, you know? And my dreams involve, like, a lot of people, you know, and, like, helping a lot of people and, like, helping them do what I did or, you know, to start off or, like, all kinds of things like that. So, I don't know. I feel like it's just, like, the beginning of a long road of craziness and ideas and hopefully success.
I hope it's all those things for you.
Me too.
Yeah.
definitely.
Thanks. Did any of that make sense?
Absolutely.
It certainly did.
Good.
So Nate Williams, who local rapper, good stuff. You should look him up. He's sending you some singles, some clean stuff, John.
To where?
To your email, I guess. I would think. What is the email?
I'm gonna send my personal email at work. Please, no dick pics.
What's the email?
I'm gonna type it in the comments.
Okay, so check out the comments. Joe Cavison says that
Faster.
he turned off the Coach V 30 for 30 for this. Good call. Popco is 10 times more inspirational.
I hope so. I mean, like, that's none of what I said is exaggerated. It's all real life shit, and I couldn't be happier to be a part of it. So
What a year it's been.
enough of that. But,
Seriously.
yeah.
And Vinny, our generous host of our open mic at the V Spot, said you should consider ditching those couches for a hot tub. That's a great idea.
Well, Vinny, as the sponsor,
yeah, right.
fucking
Get on
pay
that.
for it.
All right.
Jesus.
I'm like, I keep thinking like
He just
who is that?
he just kind of
changed
like
his
walks
name.
straight into this shit.
Yeah.
Right? Like, oh yeah,
I didn't
get rid of
realize
that
that was
shit.
him because he switched his name on Facebook.
Yeah, he
Who
did.
the fuck is this guy?
He never uses his real name
Yeah,
on
good.
Facebook. It's always something else. I don't blame him.
Gives you a
though.
little freedom.
It does. It certainly does.
It's like being in a mascot parody. Brittany. You're like my wife.
Sorry.
Wow.
I do that every day.
All right, down the rabbit.
Yeah, we're getting to that time.
It's already
We're
8:30,
starting
you
to get-
guys.
Yeah, we're so. Thank you everybody for tuning in. It's been a ton of fun tonight. Just kind of taking it easy and doing something a little bit different. We'll be back next week with AJ Jump from the brand new Carl Hall in Wilkes-Barre. We're going to talk about that venue and the plans that he has for that in the future. It's going to be really cool. It's going to be a fun time. We've all known AJ for many years now.
Long time. Long time.
So it's going to be
That'll
one of
be a
those
fun
types
one.
of conversations where we can get a little deeper than we normally
Funny
do.
stories.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah,
have to get into
exactly.
some of those.
He's got tons of them.
Yeah.
So that'll be good, and please come out and see us this Tuesday, March 27th, at the V Spot, and come out and see us again April 6th at the Bog in downtown Scranton for Scene, which is a totally different type of event we've never done before, but that's all Keith Perks. So congrats to him on 10 years of this stuff and many more hopefully, because he's been through a lot. So I'm glad to see him, still out there, still doing it, still enjoying it.
Plugging away.
Yeah, as we all are.
Yeah, that's part of the NEPA pride. It's just keep plugging away.
Yep.
Whether it's business, pleasure, or whatever else you're doing, keep plugging away.
and allowing us to do what we do, because we love to do this. So thank you all, and we will see you next week, 7 to 8 p.m. right here on Facebook Live.